Ray Ives, Pen of an Underdog. Thanks for joining. So this is really a pivotal part here. We're still in part 5, but the subchapter is called Destination Leadership. A lot of people, they start talking about leadership and get excited. I get excited. There's books on leadership. CEOs talk about leadership. In all of business, there's leadership, and it means a lot of different things at different times. And having somebody report to you in a business setting to be their boss was something that I took very seriously. Leadership, I took very seriously. I read a lot of books on leadership, and the biggest thing on reading those books and having leadership in theory is the application of it. It's almost like if anyone's a parent out there and you read the baby book and then, you have a baby and it's the baby is completely different and the book is telling you doesn't necessarily work, right? Like that scenario, it's like leadership. And again, it's being a psychologist, like understand the psychology, the motivation of people. And then different people are going to be wired. Their DNA is going to be wired differently. Their experiences are going to be different. What motivates them, whether they're head or heart or both, is going to be subjective, right? And so here I was, destination leadership. And what I mean by that is that proactive work creating or chart. Like here I was now the director of sales. Momentum. This was my career acceleration. I was now the director of sales. And why? I was adding value to the company. The company was growing, and I just knew like I had to ride that wave of growth. So here I was, director of sales. I always like to touch on the bullet points. It's like, okay, what's the difference between national account manager and director of sales? And so as the director, what shifted, and here are like the 5 basically bullet points, is I was leading the planning, evaluation, and execution for short-term and long-term EBITDA goals. EBITDA, that was a new one, right? Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization. EBITDA, that all of a sudden came on the scene. Everybody talked about that metric nonstop. EBITDA. I then reported directly to the president. I was no longer reporting to Donald. I was reporting to Donna and really working cross-functional on P&L targets. And so as the director, I achieved the EBITDA metrics at the time, plus a 15% sales growth over 2 years, which is really, really hard to do. Being a director was then becoming a leader in such that I was developing and motivating a team. And that team was managing revenue, inventory, sales budgets. And then I was there for the accountability part. The company was growing. It was now 3 companies. And I would have to report earnings, revenue to the board of directors. It was interesting having direct reports because there was people I worked with that I became their boss. And some of the people were older than me. And I always thought leadership, again, perception. For whatever reason, if I'm going to be a leader, everybody is going to be younger than me. Majority of the time, that wasn't the case. Older people reported me, which is fine. These were great people. It just seemed like the dynamic for me, I had to adjust to it. That's it. I just had to adjust to it. It was the first time I was going to hire somebody. And the person we hired was coming from our number 1 client. He basically worked in a different department for our number 1 client. I thought the guy was great. I truly did. But from a business perspective, I thought working for a client, leaving that client, and then working for the company that's going to call on the client just didn't seem like a good idea. And the guy who I ultimately hired, like he was awesome. We got along great. He had a great personality, and just didn't think hiring somebody from Kahuna to work on Kahuna was a good idea. Anyway, 2 national account managers reporting to me, and then 2 retail merchandising managers. And the retail merchandising managers, it was almost like we could have had a camera crew follow us around or even follow them around. They were both very, very passionate about what they did. Food, cake design, that was their passion. And they were characters. So the first, I remember Grace Waveland, right? She was Mormon. She had like Goldilocks hair. Her political stance was far left. And and she was like a social justice warrior. Her demeanor is always, to me, it was always like soothing and polite. She was charming. I would bring her with to big meetings. I, as the leader, always thought it was good to show up with a team to exemplify coverage, to exemplify we're a serious company. This is our team. So anyway, Grace Waveland, she was the first regional marketing manager. And then there was Alyssa Monroe. Now, these two were best friends. They were best friends. They just happened to work together. Alyssa was different. She was a Greek woman, short, black hair, stylish, but she was like fierce and like intimidating. She was only like 5 foot. She was small. Her political stance was the opposite. Like, she was far right. She loved America to the core. And she was so unfiltered. And I always thought it was interesting because they were best friends. They would travel together. They'd go to Europe together. And they're just two amazing people. They both reported me. And this is what I talk about destination leadership. Destination leadership is managing different people, motivated by different things. And I'm not talking about politics or life. I'm talking about within work. Their approach was different. Their motivation was different. How they got results was different. They both got results. They did it their way. And these were the things to jump around in leadership and understand, okay, as a leader, it's about charting the course. I say the head and heart. Here's information. That's the head. Meaning, okay, get your brain working. Here's our sales last year. Here's what we're doing this year. Here's our new product portfolio. And then the heart. This is how you fit into the team. This is why your role is so important to the bigger collective of the team. We need you. We count on you. Let's work together. And then it comes, let's win. Let's win as a team. Let's win as individuals. Let's create a good, synergized, successful team. So, destination leadership. Ray Ives, The Pen of an Underdog. Check out the book. It's on Amazon. I'm going to put the link right here or in the comments. Check it out. Ray Ives, The Pen of an Underdog. You won't be disappointed. More to come.